transmigrating into a useless young master. The city lord's estate comes to hold him accountable. I blurt out, I have lived an upright life, pure and self-respecting. Everyone looks as if they've swallowed a fly. They accuse me of being ignorant and worthless. Right then, I picked up a brush and wrote a poem. After finishing it, the city lord's daughter's heart raced. The opposing advisor fell silent, and my grandfather's jaw nearly hit the floor. Only then did I realize, oh no, I overdid it. 1 second, I was being blown to smithereens by the heavenly creation cauldron. The next, I opened my eyes and found myself lying on a soft couch inlaid with gold and jade. 2 sets of memories were violently clashing in my head, the pain making me gasp for air. After digesting all that information, I nearly choked on my breath. This body was also named Tang Yan, the eldest son of the Tang family, a noble status. But the problem was this guy's 16 years of life were basically a textbook case of how to be a waste. Cultivation for 16 years, stuck at mortal stage tier 2. Even a dog would have reached tier 3 by now if it started at age 6. What's even more absurd is how I transmigrated. This guy harassed the city lord's daughter Lin Dongxue in public and was kicked into Dantian by the Liu family as eldest son Liu Ji, crippling his cultivation. I died from severe injuries, and my soul just happened to crash into this body. In my past life, I was the most supreme alchemy emperor of the inner martial world. I could whip up 9th grade pills with ease. Countless heavenly tier experts had to respectfully call me alchemy emperor when they saw me. But now, my Dantian is destroyed, and I'm worse than an ordinary person. Just as I was feeling sulky, the maid Xiaozui's panicked voice came from outside the door. Young master, it's bad. The master orders you to get over there immediately. I slowly got up, taking my time to put on my clothes. Xiaozui was stomping her feet in anxiety, but I wasn't flustered at all. What could the old man want me for? It's nothing more than an interrogation. He'll scold me harshly from start to finish. Since I'm going to be yelled at either way, why rush? But I can't skip it either. Knowing the old man's temper, if I don't go, he'll definitely come charging over himself. And by then, it might not just be a scolding. Hand me a robe, I said casually. Xiaozui swiftly handed me one. The moment I took it, my face turned green. The robe was full of holes. The edge of each hole was strung with a row of gold ornaments, jingling and clattering as I walked, like a moving wind chime. These are my clothes, young master. Isn't this your favorite robe? Old Madame Wang altered it 7 times to get it right. Xiaozui blinked at me, her eyes full of surprise. What's wrong with the young master today? He's like a different person. I suppressed the urge to throw this rag away. Take off all the gold ornaments and store them. Throw away the clothes. Give me something normal. After changing into a simple long robe, Xiaozui's eyes grew even more puzzled. The person in the mirror had sharp eyebrows and bright eyes, with a tall and straight figure. Clearly a good foundation, but that previous guy had to ruin himself into that mess. Following my memory, I headed toward the back courtyard. From a distance, I saw a robust old man standing at a stone table, holding a brush and writing. The brush didn't touch his hand. He controlled its strokes entirely with his true chi. Xian rank, 9th grade, I could tell the old man's strength at a glance. In this cloud city, he counted as a top-tier expert. But the anger radiating from the old man right now could be felt even from far away. Greetings, grandfather. I barely got the words out when slapped the old man threw the brush onto the stone table, the handle snapping with a sharp crack. You little brat, you've really grown some balls. You never study. You're always causing trouble, and now you've got the nerve to try and rape the city lord's daughter and failed. You've disgraced the Tang family. I kept my head down and said nothing as the old man scolded me relentlessly. When you were 6, I tested your talent. You were top grade. If you had trained properly, you wouldn't have ended up with your Dantian crippled. You were in the wrong first, so you deserve the beating. Where am I supposed to go to argue for you? Watching the old man finish his scolding, I actually felt a warmth in my heart. He cursed harshly, but I knew he truly cherished this grandson. My father had been missing for years, and I had no uncles. As the only descendant of the Tang family, the old man placed all his hopes on me. But now my Dantian was crippled. In this world where martial prowess reigns supreme, the weak are lambs to the slaughter. I walked back to my courtyard in silence and sat cross-legged on the bed. In my past life, I could refine 6th-order pulse-connecting pills, but in this world, alchemists are scarce. 4th-order alchemists are as rare as phoenix feathers. Where could I find one? My only hope is the cauldron of creation. With a mindset of giving a try, I focused my mind and held my breath, sinking into my sea of consciousness. A quarter of an hour passed, no reaction. An hour passed, still no reaction. Just as I was about to give up, a profoundly familiar aura suddenly burst forth from the sea of consciousness. The cauldron of creation. My mind trembled as I stared intently at the faintly translucent cauldron slowly rotating in the sea of consciousness. A deep, resonant voice sounded from within the cauldron. The supreme alchemy canon seizes the essence of heaven and earth, refining the ultimate purity. The practitioner must dissolve the vital energy in the dantian, break down to rebuild, and cultivate the supreme alchemy canon. Immediately after, a vast amount of information flooded into my mind. By the time I finished digesting it, my entire being was ablaze with excitement. The core of the supreme alchemy canon is to use the body as a cauldron, refining heaven and earth. The realm I pursued my entire past life had actually been achieved in this way. But the cultivation process was truly agonizing. A scorching true energy exploded from the dantian, searing wildly through the meridians. I felt like I was being roasted alive, my skin flushed red and scorching hot, white mist constantly rising from my body. I can't stay here any longer, or I'll really be cooked. I dashed out the door and plunged straight into the lake in the backyard. With a splash, the cool water enveloped my entire body, finally easing that burning heat. I soaked in the lake for an entire night, my true chi continuously refined through the meridians, impurities expelled through the pores. When dawn broke, I opened my eyes, feeling the surging power within me. Third level of the Yuan stage, reached it in one night. This supreme alchemy sutra is indeed domineering. Stretching my limbs, I changed into a white robe adorned with gold trim, a folding fan in hand. Looking in a bronze mirror, I appeared elegant and poised, a far cry from the useless wreck I was yesterday. With a clear mind, I could see my current situation more clearly. Cloud City appeared calm on the surface, but undercurrents surged beneath. The Tang family was weakening, while other families watched eagerly. Grandfather was fiercely protective. As long as I stayed alive, he would fight to the death. Only if I died would the old man lose his spirit, making the Tang family easy to deal with. They want to destroy the Tang family? I'll make sure they don't get what they want. A sliver of killing intent slipped out, and the aura of the alchemy emperor erupted in an instant. Though fleeting, it shook the hearts of all the Tang family experts. Before I could plan my next move, Uncle and Mo rushed in. Young master, people from the city lord's mansion are here, along with Miss Wuxuan from the mysterious elixir pavilion. They're waiting in the front hall. Wuxuan, the chief alchemist of the mysterious elixir pavilion, a second-rank alchemist. Word has it she's close with Lin Dongxue. This is likely a confrontation. Grandfather wants me to go back and lie down, feign illness, win sympathy, and apologize to smooth things over, right? I said flatly. Uncle Mo's eyes froze. When did the young master become so sharp? I laughed. Let's go. Even though the Tang family ranks last in Cloud City, a desperate fight would leave a mark on anyone. As long as grandfather still breathes, who would dare truly kill me? With that, I clasped my hands behind my back and strode toward the front hall. Uncle Mo followed, his eyes dazed as he watched the figure in white brocade move with ease and elegance. In the front hall, a middle-aged man was loudly interrogating Tang Ling. Regardless of whether Tang Yan's dantian was destroyed, harassing Miss Lin is a fact. This matter must be accounted for. Someone was looking for me. As I stepped into the hall, everyone's eyes immediately gathered on me. There were 7 people, 5 men and 2 women. I swept my gaze and first saw Lin Dongxue with willow leaf eyebrows and bright eyes, a tall figure, and an innate noble aura. She was indeed a beauty of breathtaking splendor. No wonder the previous Tang Yan was infatuated. The one beside her should be Wuxuan. Her eyes were like dots of lacquer, her teeth like melon seeds. She stood there cool and aloof, neither showing off nor hiding, yet impossible to ignore. Miss Lin, Miss Wuxuan, long time no see. I smiled and cupped my hands. Wuxuan said lightly, hardly. I think this is the first time I've met young Master Tang. That middle-aged man, the city lord's guest, Minister Qin Chongdao, pointed at me, and said sternly, Tang Yan, 5 days ago you attempted to assault Miss Lin on the street, disgracing the reputation of the city lord's mansion. Do you admit your guilt? I suddenly jumped up, pointing at Qin Changdao. He cursed, Bullshit. I, Tang Yan, have lived an upright and honorable life, pure and self-respecting. How could I possibly harass Miss Lin in the street? How dare you ruin my reputation? As soon as these words were spoken, old Master Tang nearly choked. Everyone in the hall was stunned. The #1 playboy of Cloud City dared to claim he was pure and self-respecting. How thick-skinned could he be? Qin Changdao trembled with rage. You dare curse me? When did I curse you? You're the honorable guest elder of the city lord, a Xian level master. How would I, a mere crippled cultivator, dare to curse you? I'm simply refuting your claim. Lady Wuxuan, I hear you're a fair and just person who loves to stand up for the oppressed. Please judge for yourself. If someone with power and influence curses me, is that acceptable? But if I speak a word of rebuttal, is that treason? Lady Wuxuan frowned slightly and said indifferently, That may be so, but we cannot simply take your word for it. You say you weren't trying to harass her that day, so why did you approach and make improper advances? I blinked, putting on an innocent expression. Lady Wuxuan misunderstands. There's more to what happened that day. What more is there? Let's hear it, Lin Dongxue said coldly, her face filled with disgust. What's the inside story? Let's hear it, Lin Dongxue said coldly, her face full of disgust. I was silent for a moment, took a deep breath, as if I had made up my mind. In Cloud City, everyone says I'm a playboy, idle, and useless. But that day, I truly had no intention of disrespecting Miss Lin. It all started 9 years ago. At the temple fair, when I was 7, the city lord brought Miss Dongxue to stroll the streets. I saw Miss Dongxue and fell in love at first sight. But as I grew older, I found that my martial arts talent was mediocre. Even with hard training, I was just an ordinary warrior. How could someone like me be worthy of Miss Lin? After that, I sank into depression every day, living like a playboy, hoping to catch Miss Lin's attention this way. But it only made her dislike me more. 5 days ago, I finally saw Miss Lin up close again. I had thousands of words I wanted to say to her, but I was so nervous my mind went blank, which led to that scene. Actually, that day, I wanted to give Miss Lin a poem. It took me 3 years and 5,209 revisions. As I said this, a hint of shyness appeared on my face. But my expression was too sincere. So sincere that even he began to doubt himself. Could it be that he had wronged this kid all these years? Lin Dongxue's gaze shifted slightly. Wu Xian's face also showed a complicated expression. 5,210. I love you. Although this man has a bad reputation. But if what he says is true, then this infatuation is too deep after all. After a moment, Wu Xian came to her senses. What young Master Tang said is quite lamentable. You said it took 3 years to write a poem. Could you write it out for everyone to see? Qin Changdao also snapped back to reality. He sneered, I advise you not to plagiarize others' lines. I started reading at age 5, and it has been 52 years since then. I have read no less than 10,000 books. If you plagiarized, I will not let it go. Old Master Tang's heart sank. He was about to think of a way to salvage the situation, when he heard me say in a clear voice, Bring me brush and ink. Old Master Tang's blood pressure instantly skyrocketed. You can't even write a few characters. And you really think you're the reincarnation of the god of literature? Soon, the 4 treasures of the study were set out. A sheet of snow-white rice paper was spread on the table. Young Master Tang, please begin, Wu Xian said lightly. I rolled up my sleeves, lifted the brush, and dipped it in ink. Everyone craned their necks. I wanted to see if this playboy's calligraphy would look like dog scratches or cat claws. The 3 characters, joy of reunion, landed at the top of the paper, completely completed in one go. No pause at all. The strokes were like iron hooks and silver engravings, graceful and spirited, paired with my white robe and gold trim. Elegant and refined, a true gentleman. Qin Changdao's eyes nearly popped out. Old Master Tang and Uncle Mo's jaws nearly hit the floor. When did this kid learn to write like that? Silently, I climbed the western tower alone. The moon hangs like a hook in the lonely Wutong trees. The clear autumn is locked deep in the courtyard. The first stanza poured down like flowing clouds and water. No halt, no hesitation, as if he had truly written it 10,000 times. The hall was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Cut. It doesn't break sorted, it's still tangled. It is the sorrow of parting, a taste that lingers in the heart. When the lower half was completed, Lin Dongshue's heart raced like a startled deer. The shock in Wu Xian's eyes was completely undeniable. Even Qin Changdao, who had been ready to find fault, fell silent. He read it over and over in his mind. After a long while, Wu Xian let out a long sigh. I never expected that Master Tang could be such a devoted lover. Earlier, I didn't believe it. After seeing this poem, I can see how heartfelt it is. Sister Dongxue, let this matter end here. What do you think? Lin Dongxue cast a deep glance at me. The shyness in her eyes flickered and vanished. For now, I'll trust you this once. If there's a next time, I won't let it slide. Guest Qin, take the evidence from the table and bring it back. Let's go. With that, she turned and left. Her steps were twice as fast as when she arrived. Qin Changdao quickly rolled up the Xian paper and followed. Wu Xian gave me a slight nod. Master Tang, today you have truly opened Wu Xian's eyes. Although your reputation is not good in the art of poetry, you indeed have talent. If he could devote himself to the literary arts, he would surely achieve something great. After bidding farewell, the people from the city lord's mansion left in a flurry. Only the Tang family remained in the hall. Old Master Tang and Uncle Mo stared at me, their eyes like they were looking at some rare treasure. Feeling the questioning gazes of the two elders, Tang Yan in Wali Guan, it seemed he had acted too cool. Boy, did you really write this poem? Old Master Tang asked casually, though his eyes held unconcealed anticipation. He, of course. Tang Yan Zhuge. Oh, really? You're getting carried away now. Honestly, old Master Tang was not gentle. He grabbed Tang Yan by the ear and pressed him. Tang Yan felt a surge of grievance. What was wrong with this world? Couldn't a person even speak the truth? Easy, easy. I'll talk. I met a poor scholar a while back. Seeing that he had written this pretty good poem, I bought it off him. He told me, grandson, if I could write beautifully and then write out this poem, young ladies from good families could easily obtain it. Your grandson, feeling a sudden itch, not only memorized this poem by heart, but also practiced his handwriting. Tang Yan was pinched painfully by old Master Tang. He quickly found an excuse to brush it off. The excuse was fairly reasonable. Old Master Tang finally let go of his hand. Tang Yan rubbed his reddened ears. With a bitter face, he said, Grandfather, your grandson has also resolved this crisis. Could you reward your grandson with tens of thousands of taels of silver for spending? Today, the matter of the city lord's mansion coming to demand an explanation was smoothly resolved. Old Master Tang was in a fairly good mood. Hearing Tang Yan's words, his face instantly darkened. What do you need so much silver for? Want to go out and indulge in pleasure again? I warn you, if you dare to go out and squander money again, I'll break your dog legs. Tang Yan was secretly anxious. If you don't give me money, how can I buy the alchemy cauldron? Without a cauldron, how can I refine pills? Grandfather, rest assured, I will not squander money on wine and women. It's just that your grandson has recently come to a sudden realization. In the past, I was indeed ignorant and unaccomplished. Now, I'm no good at cultivation. I want to abandon martial arts and take up commerce. Let me take some silver to practice first. Tang Yan said with a serious face. Old Master Tang's heart stirred slightly upon hearing this. Although he still didn't believe that Tang Yan would truly use the money for business as he said. But this reason sounds heartwarming, doesn't it? Then go to the accounting room and take 200 taels of silver. Once you make some achievements, I can consider giving you more silver. If I find out you're using this money to indulge in wine and women, all future allowances will be cut off. Old Master Tang warned. He turned and left. Tang Yan's heart turned cold upon hearing this. Grandfather, I am your own grandson. Tang the young master, wanting to cry, but having no tears, did not sit still and wait for death. In less than half an hour, Tang Yan gathered all the valuables from his room. He tucked silver taels into his bosom. With a folding fan in hand, he led Xiao Chui out the door. Since they wouldn't pay up, he'd take a stroll outside. He planned to buy some low-grade herbs. Even mixing an ordinary body nourishing pill would do. On the main street, Tang Yan sauntered along. He pretentiously opened his folding fan and waved it for a breeze. His eyes were frivolous, his manner slovenly. The ethereal aura he had while composing poetry earlier vanished without a trace. Xiao Chui tilted her head and watched her young master. How could the young master's demeanor be so different from in the Great Hall? Such a drastic change. Could it really be what the ancients said? A leopard cannot change its spots. Young Master Tang looked around the street with keen interest. Cries of vendors, chatter of passers-by, sound of labor, all sorts. And along the street, various taverns, tailor shops, farm tool stores, weapon halls, blacksmith forges, and so on. All exuded a sense of ancient charm. Markets like this on Earth were still common in the last century. But as society progressed, these things were gradually replaced by supermarkets, shopping malls, and even online shopping. Yo, isn't this Master Tang? Why aren't you at the Red Flower Pavilion and instead wandering the streets? I heard your grandpa cut your allowance. Don't tell me you can't even afford the old girls at the Red Flower Pavilion anymore. A voice filled with sarcasm rang out. Tang Yan turned to look and saw that it was Lu Yuan, the third young master of the Lu family. Lu Yuan and Tang Yan were similar. Both were among the playboys of Cloud City. But Lu Yuan had a much better fate than Tang Yan. The Lu family had many descendants. There were 6 or 7 direct male heirs in the younger generation, and quite a few of them were ambitious. So even though Lu Yuan was also a playboy, the Lu family wasn't too distressed about a lack of successors. What, you want to give me some money to spend? Even though Lu Yuan was a playboy, but he wasn't stupid. The Lu family had always wanted to annex the Tang family. Among the noble families of Cloud City, it was no secret. If he could teach Tang Yan a lesson, he would surely be rewarded by the family upon his return. But the family had also clearly warned the younger generation of the Lu family that they must never provoke Tang Yan first. Otherwise, old Master Tang would go crazy and bite back. If they wanted to teach Tang Yan a lesson, they had to let Tang Yan make the first move. Give you money? In your dreams. I thought young Master Tang only had his dantian crippled, but it turns out his brain is broken too. When these vicious words were spoken, even Xiao Chui, standing to the side, had anger burning in her eyes. Fuck you. Who are you calling brain broken? Believe it or not, I'll beat you up. Tang Yan glared and shouted. You want to beat me up? Lu Yuan's heart leaped with joy, and he couldn't help laughing. Young Master Tang, it's not that I look down on you, but even if I let you have one arm and one leg, can beat you like a dog. Tang Yan's eyes were bloodshot. Breathing heavily, he pointed at Lu Yuan and said angrily, You're just at the 4th rank of the Yuan stage, for fuck's sake. What are you so cocky about? Aren't you so awesome? How about we make a bet? If I can beat you to the ground, you'll lose me 10,000 taels of silver. If you can beat me to the ground, I'll give you the 200 taels of silver I have on me. Dare to bet with me? Lu Yuan felt a surge of joy inside. You know, in the path of martial arts, each rank is a mountain. Although he usually idled around, he was indeed at the 4th rank of the Yuan stage. This guy's dantian was crippled, plus years of indulgence in wine and women. I'm afraid he can't even handle an ordinary person. I don't have 10,000 taels of silver. Only 2,000, and if I win, I only get 200 taels of silver. That's unfair. Lu Yuan's eyes rolled. He chuckled and said, How about this? If you win, I'll give you all my 2,000 taels of silver. If you lose, you'll kowtow to me 3 times on the ground. How about that, you damn Lu family scum? Just you wait, I'll beat the crap out of you. Suppressing the urge to throw a punch, Tang Yan continued his act. Damn, even my head isn't worth 1,000 taels. At most, I'd lose and have to kowtow once. Lu Yuan was overjoyed inside. Sure enough, it's that brainlessly arrogant young Master Tang. A total fool through and through. Once you kneel, what difference does 1 kowtow or 100 make? If I can make Tang Yan kneel today, I'll have rendered a great service, and his family will be even more lenient with his reckless behavior. Having made up his mind, Lu Yuan said, In that case, I'll give young Master Tang this face. Young Master, let's go back. Chui tugged at Tang Yan's sleeve from the side. Her voice choked with tears. Move aside. Watch me beat him so badly today, his parents won't even recognize him. Tang Yan flicked his sleeve. Young Master, Lu Yuan is deliberately provoking you. He's trying to trick you into insulting the Tang family. Please don't fall for it. Xiao Chui's voice grew more urgent. Lu Yuan took in Xiao Chui's reaction completely. It seemed Tang Yan's dantian being crippled was a done deal. But if this simpleton was really persuaded away by Xiao Chui, wouldn't all his efforts be in vain? So, do you dare to compete or not? Give me a direct answer. A Tang always keeps their word. If we're going to compete, then let's compete, but let's agree on the terms beforehand. In a fist fight, accidents happen if someone gets injured. No one can be blamed. Tang Yan buset asai xiaoqi rolled up his sleeves, looking eager to try. Lu Yuan almost laughed out loud. This fool really is a one-track mind. He blurted out exactly what he was thinking. Young Master Tang is indeed straightforward. Then let's begin. Everyone, please be my witness, Lu Yuan. Young Master Tang himself said that accidents happen in a fight. This conversation between the two had long since attracted the attention of those around them. However, both the Lu family and the Tang family were not to be trifled with. So naturally, no one dared to come forward to testify. But in private, they all watched with anticipation for the drama, waiting for Tang Yan to kowtow to Lu Yuan. Young Master Tang, shall we begin? Lu Yuan asked, of course. Then let's start. I'll remind you first. Look at this folding fan in my hand. It is no ordinary fan, but magical artifact. Its 18 ribs can transform into 18 sharp arrows, piercing iron and breaking metal with ease. Hearing this, Lu Yuan's expression changed. No wonder this guy dared to provoke him. So he had a magical artifact as his backing. Such magical artifacts are not common, often hard to come by even for 1,000 gold. He himself did not have one. But Tang Yan, as the only direct descendant of the Tang family, old Master Tang would surely find ways to get him life-saving measures. Lu Yuan was about to say that the match could not use magical artifacts, when he heard Tang Yan shout loudly. Look at the treasure fan, he said. Tang Yan threw the folding fan in his hand up into the sky. With a whoosh sound, the fan opened in midair. Hearing young Master Tang's words, the surrounding people all looked up at the sky at the same time. Even Lu Yuan's 2 guards were now staring at the open fan with great interest. A magical artifact. This was a rare thing in Cloud City. Many noble children seldom got to see one. Lu Yuan's heart tightened suddenly. His eyes locked onto the fan in the air. He had been so careless as not to bring a weapon. For a moment, he felt extremely anxious and furious. A smile lifted the corner of Tang Yan's mouth. He dashed forward. Lifting his foot, he kicked toward Lu Yuan's abdomen. This kick was fast, fierce, and steady. It hit Lu Yuan's abdomen squarely. Poor Lu Yuan was just gathering power in his dantian, preparing to unleash the power of the treasure fan. But suddenly a great force came from his abdomen, and he flew backward, landing heavily on the ground. Everyone was stunned. What the hell is going on? Where's the promised magic artifact? How did Lu Yuan get sent flying? In his past life, Tang Yan was a 9th-rank alchemist, and had faced countless threats throughout his life. His indomitable nature had made him battle-hardened. An experienced fighter never gives the enemy a chance to catch their breath. But the moment he kicked Lu Yuan away, Tang Yan charged forward again, straddling Lu Yuan, raining punches down on Lu Yuan's head with thud after thud. After being kicked and then thrown to the ground, Lu Yuan was thoroughly disoriented. Fists like raindrops pounded on his head. In an instant, Lu Yuan's eyes became a pair of black and blue shiners. Tried to muster a breath of inner energy, but his lower abdomen was excruciatingly painful. As soon as he moved slightly, it felt like countless needles were stabbing him. Lu Yuan was instantly drenched in cold sweat from the pain. Meanwhile, his head throbbed with constant pain, constantly reminding him that he was being beaten, thinking that he had actually been beaten by a cripple whose dantian was destroyed. Lu Yuan felt like crying, but had no tears. This time, when he returned home, not only would he not be rewarded, he could even imagine his father, the ancestors, and everyone else would all give him a severe scolding. Even his hot-tempered father had probably already prepared the leather whip. Under the multiple torments of shame, anger, fear, and pain, Lu Yuan's vision finally went black, and he was knocked unconscious by Tang Yan. When the fan fell to the ground with a clatter and he showed no reaction, and Tang Yan kicked Lu Yuan flying. Only then did the surrounding people gradually snap out of their shock. This bastard doesn't have any magic treasures at all. He just ambushed me, damn it. Haha. Third young Master Lu. You actually fell asleep. Seeing Lu Yuan, who had already passed out. Tang Yan and reached out to frisk Lu Yuan's body. He indeed pulled out 2,000 taels of silver notes and some loose silver. When the people around heard Tang Yan's words, the corners of their mouths twitched involuntarily. You knocked him out yourself, okay? But more people looked at the unconscious Lu Yuan with pity. Taken down with one kick by Tang Yan, a good-for-nothing playboy, beaten without any ability to fight back. This battle, Lu Yuan has utterly lost his reputation. The face of the Lu family will probably suffer a bit. Wow, young master, you won. At this moment, only Xiao Chui believed her young master had won fair and square, won brilliantly. Of course your young master is very formidable. Ha, picking up the folding fan from the ground. Young Master Tang elegantly fanned himself twice. He walked away with a swaggering gait. The two guards of the Lu family finally came to their senses. They hurriedly lifted Lu Yuan and dashed off swiftly toward the Lu residence. The onlookers gradually dispersed, but the fight that had just taken place would surely become a topic of conversation over tea in Cloud City. Meanwhile, Tang Yan, accompanied by Xiao Chui, strode boldly down the street, his mind still calculating how to use the 2,000 taels of silver he had just won. Should he buy a cauldron of inferior quality for alchemy, or put the money to other uses? After about a quarter of an hour of walking, Tang Yan glanced out of the corner of his eye and saw, not far ahead, a street where medicinal herbs were sold. An idea suddenly flashed through Tang Yan's mind. He took out a 1,000-tael banknote from his bosom and handed it to Xiao Chui, saying, "Take this money and go to the 100 Herbs Hall ahead. Buy 3 taels of Qianwei herb, 1 tael of green sandalwood incense, and half a tael of dried peony flowers, 2 liang of rice tree core," and subsequently listed over a dozen herbs. Only then did Tang Yan stop, and it was all thanks to little Chui's good memory. After memorizing them carefully, she took the silver note and headed toward the shop. Seeing little Chui enter the shop, Tang Yan immediately went into another nearby herbal medicine store. "Shopkeeper, give me 2 liang of crystal sand, 3 qian of pearl powder, 9 qian of stargrass, half a liang of butterfly flower." As soon as Tang entered the store, he called out loudly. Hearing Tang Yan's voice, the shopkeeper immediately beamed with joy. Although Tang Yan didn't order a large quantity, with all these over 20 types of herbs, it still added up to a considerable sum. After weighing them, the shopkeeper clacked away on his abacus and calculated a total. Tang Yan had only a little over 300 taels left on him. He had the shopkeeper wrap up the herbs, then return to his previous spot. After quite a while, little Chui finally came out of the pharmacy. "Keeping you waiting, young master." Seeing Tang Yan, Xiao Chui said with guilt in her eyes, "It's okay, let's go." Tang Yan smiled. He knew his maidservant very well. This girl was extremely meticulous in her work. The reason she took so long was probably because she carefully double-checked the weighing of the herbs in the shop, making sure there were no mistakes. "Young master, where are we going?" Seeing that her master didn't scold her, Xiao Chui couldn't help but feel relieved. "Miao on Fong. Miao on Fong." "Young master, what are you going there for?" Xiao Chui immediately grew anxious. Her master wouldn't be thinking of causing trouble at Miao Fong, would he? To buy herbs. To Miao Fong. Of course, for alchemy. Tang Yan said with a faint smile. Hearing Tang Yan's words, Xiao Chui quietly breathed a sigh of relief. She followed behind her young master and secretly looked up to study his back. His walking posture was still as sloppy as ever. But having served Tang Yan for so many years, she always felt that her young master was slightly different from before. For example, buying medicine today. If she had delayed a bit in the past, the young master would have scolded her a few times. Not like today, where he was so easy to talk to. In Cloud City, the very center is the city lord's mansion. The 4 great families are distributed in the 4 cardinal directions. Given the current status of the Miao Dan Fong, in 99% of the cities in the country of Tingxiang, it would have the ability to occupy the central position. But such a vast organization chose a place only slightly closer to the city center than the few great families. This is true in Cloud City and similarly elsewhere. And it is precisely this humility and non-contention that earns the Miao Dan Fong considerable favor from the city lord's mansion in various cities. About a quarter of an hour later, Tang Yan arrived at the entrance of the Miao Dan Fong. The Miao Dan Fong occupied a large area. The front hall was responsible for selling some low-grade pills and various medicinal herbs. Entering the shop, there weren't many goods on the shelves. "Young master, what do you need?" Seeing someone come in, the shop assistant immediately greeted with a smile. Tang Yan opened the folding fan. He asked with a smile, "Do you have any pills that increase true qi?" The shop assistant immediately introduced, "At our Miao Dan Fong, there are mainly two types of pills that increase true qi. The Foundation Establishment Pill and the Qi Enhancing Pill." The shop assistant promptly began his introduction. Tang Yan had some understanding of these two of pills. Both were first-grade pills. Among them, the Foundation Establishment Pill was a low-grade first-grade pill, primarily used by martial artists at the Yuan level. The Qi Enhancing Pill was slightly higher in grade, suitable for martial artists at the Huang level and below, although both types of pills were quite suitable for him. The purpose of his visit this time was not to buy pills. He was short on cash at the moment. At most, he could afford half a bottle of Foundation Establishment pills. "Do you have any second-grade pills?" Tang Yan closed the folding fan. Patting his chest, he said, "I have plenty of money." Upon hearing this, the shop assistant's mouth twitched. Wasn't this guy just asking to be overcharged? However, second-grade pills were indeed not something that could be openly sold. The shop assistant showed a troubled expression and said, "Young master, we don't have those." Tang Yan's eyes widened. He slammed his fan onto the counter and shouted loudly, "What?" With such a big signboard as the Miaodong workshop, the Qi enhancing pills sold to the public are only the first grade, mid-tier level. This voice was shouted out by Master Tang at the top of his lungs, instantly drawing everyone's attention. Luckily, the Miaodong workshop was no ordinary place, so there weren't many customers in the shop. "Sir, second-grade pills require second-grade alchemists to refine them. The output is limited and is only supplied to the major families. We don't casually put them on the counter for sale. Seeing your distinguished appearance, you must be from a prominent family. You should be aware of our shop's rules." The shop assistant patiently explained. "Since the pills are eventually going to be sold, I, young master, have plenty of money. Why not just sell some to me directly?" Master Tang said in a carefree manner. The shop assistant was starting to get anxious. Although the Miaodong workshop was influential, but he was also unwilling to casually stir up trouble. Seeing this young master's extraordinarily handsome attire, he was surely a son from a prominent family. "I'm just a medicine-selling clerk, and dare not easily offend him." Hesitating back and forth like this, the shop clerk was at a loss for words. Miaodong Fong has its own rules. Second-grade pills are rarely sold individually. But since the young master has money, rules are made by people too. Then I, this old man, will make an exception and sell you a bottle of Qi gathering pills. Second-grade pills, just out of the furnace not long ago. An aged yet vigorous voice rang out. Everyone turned to look and saw an old man in a gray robe, with white eyebrows and bright, spirited eyes, a tuft of beard on his chin, hands clasped behind his back, strolling leisurely out from inside. Master Gu, upon seeing the newcomer, all the clerks of Miaodong Fong bowed their heads in greeting. Gu Ming, the great elder of Cloud City, Miaodong Fong. A second-grade alchemist held a status above Wu Xuan's. As for the Gathering Qi pill, it was a second-grade, mid-grade pill. Its medicinal properties were extremely gentle. Even a martial artist at the initial Yuan stage would not suffer from meridians bursting after taking this pill. Therefore, this pill was also the top choice for major families to nurture their outstanding young talents. However, refining this pill was rather complicated. Even for a second-grade, mid-grade alchemist, there was a relatively high failure rate. Frowning, Tang Yan sniffed the faint burnt smell in the air, then fixed his gaze on that old man, with a meaningful glance at the porcelain bottle in the old man's hand. Tang Yan stepped forward and said with a smile, "Gathering Qi pill, how much?" "I won't go into detail about the effects. This bottle contains 3 pills. If placed in an auction, they could sell for up to 100,000 taels of silver. I won't cheat you, young friend. This pill, I'll sell it to you for 100,000 taels of silver. I wonder what you think, young friend?" Gu Ming said loudly. But as he looked at Tang Yan's eyes, there was a hint of disdain. A self-important, rich, second-generation heir daring to bluster at the Miao Dan workshop. Tang Yan Guse Inwali. This old bastard. At the auction it sells for at most 100,000. You're selling it to me for 100,000? Mantaninga calma exterior. Tang Yan laughed heartily and said, "No problem, no problem. I wonder if I could examine the pill." "Oh, you think I gave you a fake pill?" A cold glint flickered in Guming's eyes. Tang Yan quickly waved his hand and said, "The Miaodong Pavilion has stood on the continent for countless years and has an excellent reputation. It naturally wouldn't disgrace its name for a mere 100,000 taels of silver. However, I have never seen a qi gathering pill before. I wish to authenticate it first, to avoid buying the wrong medicine. It would be hard to explain back home. If you want to see it, then look. But if you accidentally damage the pill, you'll have to pay for it at full price." Guming handed over the porcelain bottle. The mockery in his eyes grew even stronger. A kid who doesn't even have a trace of qi fluctuation on him, yet dares to boast about appraising pills. Tang Yan took the pill with a smile, gently pulled out the stopper, revealing just a tiny gap, brought it to the tip of his nose, and gave it a gentle sniff, then casually put the stopper back on. "It's appraised." Seeing Tang Yan so casual, Guming felt even more contempt in his heart. "Anzai, Tang Yan not that." To appraise a pill, first look at its shape. A smooth surface is preferred. Second, observe its color. Uniform coloring is best. Third, sense the medicinal aura. If one's strength is low, they usually use some tools. There are also more complex appraisal methods, but these are not important. This kid is completely a reckless rookie. He pretends to understand, but is just putting on an act. Even the shop assistant beside them had a mocking expression on his face. As for Xiao Chui, she lowered her head in even greater shame. Even if she had never consumed an elixir herself, she had heard that appraising one wasn't just a matter of smelling it. But Xiao Chui didn't flee in panic. After so many years of going through thick and thin with the young master and embarrassing themselves in public, she had developed a certain immunity. "I wonder if this qi gathering pill is fake or not." Yiming pressed it. The eldest son Tang let out a thoughtful hum, tapping his fan against his palm. After a long while, he said, "This pill is indeed genuine, but the price is still open to negotiation." "Oh, how much silver do you think is appropriate, young friend?" Guming was already prepared to sell the pill. 3,000 taels of silver. "Will you sell it?" When Tang Yan announced the price, a brief silence fell over the shop. Everyone looked at Tang Yan. This kid acted extremely flippant from the start. I wonder which family's spoiled heir came to cause trouble at Miaodong Hall. However, Miaodong Hall holds a revered status and possesses extraordinary strength. This playboy has probably bitten off more than he can chew. 3,000 taels of silver when Tang Yan uttered this price. Guming thought he was hallucinating. A feeling of being toyed with by a mouse rose in him. Guming nearly lost his temper. He slammed the table hard and roared, "Kid, what do you take Miaodong Hall for? How dare you act wildly here? Master Go, what do you mean by that?" Tang Yan looked at Guming in shock and fear. "Don't scare me. You ask an exorbitant price, and I haggle accordingly. How is that acting wildly at your place? The second-grade pill, can it be bought for 3,000 taels of silver? Such a low price is an insult to the pills sold by Miaodong Hall. If you, young master, don't give me a reasonable explanation today, I'm afraid the doors of Miaodong Hall." Wasn't that easy to produce? Hearing Guming's words full of menace, Tang Yan gave a contemptuous smile. "Master Ge, this medicinal pill came from the same alchemy furnace, right? I said earlier, they were all just recently refined. What I mean is this one furnace only produced these 3 usable pills." Tang Yan said calmly. Master Ge, who had been full of anger, narrowed his pupils upon hearing Tang Yan's words. Filled with disbelief, his alchemy area was absolutely sealed. Only he himself was there. How could this young man know? Thinking it over, the only interaction between him and this young man, aside from a few words of conversation, was that the young man sniffed the bottle opening. Could it be that sniffing the bottle opening was enough to know that he had refined a furnace of waste pills and only salvaged 3? He forcibly suppressed this absurd thought in his heart. Guming pretended to be calm and said, "A single furnace producing 3 second-grade mid-tier pills. Isn't that perfectly normal? Do you think second-grade mid-tier pills are candy beans? easily refined on a whim. The fragrance of the pills is too strong, mixed with a faint burnt smell. Clearly, it was the final step of pill formation, where the heat was withdrawn a moment too late. At that point, there are two choices. One is to continue forming the pills, but with a 99% chance of ruining them. The other is to sacrifice some of the materials to create a protective layer around the pills. This would reduce the number of pills formed, and the potency would also suffer from uneven heating. Master Gu chose the second option. Rumor has it that Master Gu is a second-grade high-tier alchemist, with such an esteemed status, to produce pills like these. If I were to buy them for 100,000 silver taels, I imagine Master Gu, being kind-hearted, would surely feel uneasy about it. Might become a mental demon for future alchemy cultivation. So I'll just offer a low price. Tang Yan reasoned and spoke eloquently. Everyone around was lost in a dream, unsure if it was real. This kid, just relying on his sense of smell, had guessed all these things. Meanwhile, Guming's heart was already in turmoil, for no other reason than that this young man's guess was completely without error. Seeing Tang Yan's confident look, Guming's heart stirred, and he probed, "I'm already a second-rank high-grade alchemist. How could I have a fire control mistake while refining a mid-grade pill?" Normally, Master Gu would certainly refine mid-grade pills with ease. The reason for failure is simply two possibilities. First, Master G's physical condition is poor, unable to concentrate to finish this pill. Second, it's a problem with the furnace, and Master G's current state is still good. And Master Gu is still in good condition now. So I guess there must be a problem with the furnace. Master Gu recently switched to a new furnace, right? After saying that, Tang Yan fell silent. At this moment, Guming's eyes were glazed over. A casual follow-up question from him had been guessed correctly by this young man again. He was certain that while he was concocting pills, no one could have been spying on him. As for switching alchemy cauldrons, that had only happened last night. Not even the shop assistant knew about it. This young man is so meticulous. Such an impressive young man. Yet his dantian was actually destroyed. Wait, his dantian was destroyed. Could it be that this young man wants to request a pill that can repair his dantian? Based on his experience, a pill capable of restoring a destroyed dantian would be at least of the 6th rank or above. Moreover, such pills are relatively niche, extremely difficult to refine, and their value could probably rival that of a 7th rank pill. The entire Miaodong Fong probably doesn't even have a 6th-grade alchemist. This young master's wish is destined to be unfulfilled. No wonder I didn't sense any fluctuations of true qi in this young man. Young friend, your eyes are discerning. I admire that. These 3 pills I shall gift to you, free of charge, as a token of goodwill. Guming sighed and handed the porcelain bottle to Tang Yan again. The people around looked at that porcelain bottle, their eyes filled with eagerness. This young man, with just a few simple words, could get 3 second-grade, mid-tier pills for free. Then I thank Elder Gu. Tang Yan cupped his hands in thanks and gladly tucked the porcelain bottle into his bosom. Young friend, coming here today, I reckon you're looking for a pill to restore your dantian? I'm truly sorry about that, but it's likely impossible to find, Guming said with a wry smile. Tang Yan was taken aback upon hearing this. Immediately, he laughed and said, Elder Gu, this time I come with another request. I want to discuss a business deal. Oh, Guming looked suspiciously at Tang Yan. He thought to himself that this young man was no ordinary person. He figured it probably wasn't a small transaction. He then extended his hand and said, Please, let's talk in the inner chamber. He told Xiao Chui to wait outside. Tang Yan and Guming, one after the other, walked into the house and entered an inner room. A servant then poured tea and brought it up. Guming asked with a smile, I still don't know your name, young brother. This one is Tang Yan. Guming was startled upon hearing this. Tang Yan, isn't that the notorious playboy of the Tang family? But then he thought the world is so vast. There are plenty of people with the same name. He must be some other family's young master. So he laughed and said, I wonder what business young Master Tang wishes to discuss with this old man. I wish to borrow your alchemy furnace. Tang Yan stated his intention directly. Borrow the furnace? How do you intend to borrow it? Guming became increasingly curious. Borrowing the furnace for 4 hours. It could be refined inside the Miaodong workshop. No need to move the furnace. I need to refine a cauldron of pills. I hope Elder Ge can accommodate me. After pondering for a long moment, Geming finally said, refining requires soul power, perception, and true chi support. Your Dantian is destroyed, even having a furnace would be useless. Don't worry about these. The pills I refine are not of high grade, so the requirements on myself are not that high. Too sure, Chin. Geming held his chin and thought for a while, then made a decision. I can agree to this, but since this is a business deal, then what benefit does my Miao Dan workshop gain? Tang Yan quickly calculated in his mind. This time, he was going to refine the first-tier, mid-grade initial spirit pill. Its effects are milder than the Qi gathering pill, easier to absorb among first-tier pills. Probably nothing is more suitable for Yuan stage martial artists than the initial spirit pill. But what can I use as payment? Could it be the initial spirit pill? If I bring out this kind of medicine, would Miao Dan Fong covet my pill formula? Suddenly lifting his head, he noticed a faint red gleam in Geming's eyes. Dan Dan Thao Wen. He was extremely familiar with this red gleam. An idea instantly came to mind. After the alchemy is finished, I will give it to you. If by then, Elder Ge is not satisfied with the payment I give, you could deduct all the pills I refine. Hearing Tang Yan's words, Geming felt somewhat displeased. You beg me to lend you the cauldron, yet you won't even state the payment clearly. Tang Yan's words inevitably made him suspicious. Was Tang Yan planning that if he ruined the pills, he would try to shirk this payment? However, people are always curious, especially given Tang Yan's recent display, which had astonished him greatly. Though displeased, he felt more anticipation. What exactly is this young man going to offer me as compensation? That he's being so mysterious about it? After all, lending the alchemy cauldron for 2 hours is nothing. Geming nodded and said, in that case, I'll wait for your good news, young friend. Follow me to the alchemy chamber. Thank you very much, Elder Ge. I believe this gift will not disappoint you, Elder Ge. Tang Yan said with a faint smile, and followed Elder Ge toward the alchemy chamber. Once inside the Miaodong workshop, he realized just how vast the place really was. Behind the shop was the front hall. Past the front hall, to the east was the medicinal garden, and to the west was the alchemy chamber. After entering and turning down several corridors, they finally stopped in front of a door. As the stone door was pushed open, a wave of heat rushed out. This cauldron is the new one I just replaced. Entering the chamber, Elder Ge introduced with a smile. A fine cauldron refined from the essence of Wuhan mineral iron, crafted into the inner wall of the alchemy cauldron, ensuring uniform temperature inside the cauldron from all angles. Outer wall, made of black antique bronze, elegant and generous, and it blocks internal heat. A porcelain wood core embedded in the center. Further enhanced insulation. Clever design for thermal protection. This cauldron, probably money alone can't buy it, right? Dan Dan, nice. Geming couldn't describe his feelings at the moment. The young man before him, clearly very young, yet possessed unparalleled talent and insight in the path of alchemy. What a pity his Dantian was actually destroyed. Little brother has good eyes. This alchemy cauldron was specially crafted by a master artisan. Didn't cost silver, but used up quite a bit of favor from Miao Dan Fong. Haha, then I won't disturb you for now, little brother. In 2 hours, just come find me in the front hall. Old Ge didn't say much more. Glanced at the medicine bag Tang Yan was carrying, then closed the stone door. Who, after Geming went out, Tang Yan quickly stepped forward and touched the cauldron, feeling the roaring flames inside the furnace. A long-lost sense of familiarity ignited in his heart. After opening his backpack and selecting over a dozen herbs, he once again stood before the cauldron. He tossed the herbs into the cauldron, discarding the impurities and extracting the essence. His movements were as practiced as drinking tea or eating. If Geming were to witness this scene, his eyes would probably pop out of his head. Tang Yan selected and picked the herbs, adding them and refining them. This entire sequence of actions was smooth and flowing without any hesitation. He was far inferior. Once all the herbs were inside the cauldron, Tang Yan channeled his true qi to extract the essence of the herbs, and a look of disbelief again appeared on his face. He hadn't known before, never having refined pills, but after coming to this other world and practicing the supreme alchemy scripture, when using true qi during alchemy, It unexpectedly had an additional refining effect on the herbs, although the effect of refining is not obvious at the moment. But as a ninth-level alchemist in his previous life, such subtle changes could never escape his eyes. The Supreme Alchemy Sutra is actually so miraculous. This is absolutely the most miraculous cultivation method for alchemy. I currently have only the 3rd grade Yuan rank cultivation. If my cultivation improves in the future, I can completely convert true essence into flames. Then what effects would alchemy produce? It's truly something to look forward to. Tang Yan muttered to himself for a while, then calmed down and continued extracting. Tang Yan concentrated on controlling his true essence. Beads of sweat dripped down his forehead one by one. As time passed, the falling speed of these sweat beads became faster and faster, soon soaking Tang Yan's clothes. Also thanks to Tang Yan's great perseverance. If it were someone else, with only the 3rd grade Yuan rank strength, trying to refine a 1st grade mid-rank pill, they would have probably given up long ago. After a long while, when Tang Yan opened his eyes, he finally slumped to the ground in exhaustion, gasping heavily for air. Dumb, I am exhausted. Wiping his sweat, Tang Yan didn't rest long. He opened the cauldron and looked at the 12 pills in the center. They were a vibrant green, round and full, with a rich, lingering fragrance spreading around. Tang Yan finally grinned widely. He glanced at the timer on the wall. Only an hour and a half had passed. He marveled inwardly at how miraculous the mental method of the Supreme Pill Cannon was, even speeding up the alchemy process by a margin. He took out 2 porcelain bottles, carefully storing all the pills inside. He sat on the ground to rest for a while. His clothes, once soaked with sweat, had already dried from the heat of the furnace. Tang Yan pushed open the stone door and walked toward the front hall. Ming, who had been waiting there, was completely absorbed in various guesses about Tang Yan. For example, where his home was, who his master was, and so on. He sat there for over an hour, when suddenly he remembered that Tang Yan had brought a maidservant back. He slapped his forehead and cursed himself for a fool. Why hadn't he just gone to ask, "Old Go, thank you very much." Just as Ming was about to go and inquire about Tang Yan's background, a clear voice suddenly rang out. He looked up and saw that it was indeed Tang Yan. He smiled and said, "Brother Tang, how did it go?" "I managed to finish by luck. All thanks to your cauldron, Old Go." Tang Yan thanked him, then said with a smile, "I've finished my business. It's time to fulfill my promise." "Old Go, do you have paper and a brush?" "Ido." "What? Little brother, you don't mean to write an IOU, do you?" Ming chuckled and found some paper and a brush. He threw in a teasing remark, "If you don't mind, Old Go." "I wouldn't mind either." Tang Yan laughed as well. He took the brush and began to write on the paper. When that vigorous and powerful running script landed on the paper, Ming's eyes immediately lit up. As an alchemist, writing a good hand is not uncommon. But Tang Yan's characters were robust and powerful, graceful and agile, further revealing his spirit. 1,000-layer ice crystal, coral grass, moonlight juice, red crab claw foam, fire oxbone powder, 7 Qiao dream lotus. When Tang Yan, with effortless fluidity, wrote 51 medicinal herbs and wrote down the refining process, he finally put down the brush. After blowing dry the ink, he pushed the completed alchemy formula forward. Old Ge casually took it. When he saw the formulas clearly, Ye Ming's hand trembled violently. As an alchemist, he was very familiar with the effects of various medicines, having them deeply ingrained in his mind. The coral grass in this formula, red crab claw foam, fire oxbone powder, all seem to be elixirs for nourishing the meridians. And judging by the difficulty of refining, it seems to be a high-grade second-order pill formula. Only its authenticity has yet to be verified. But given Elder Ge's discernment, there's a 90% chance that this pill formula is genuine. What pill does this formula describe? Elder Ge asked in confusion. Earlier, I noticed a red glint in the whites of Elder Ge's eyes. It must be that in his youth, on the path of alchemy, he progressed too hastily and deviated slightly in his cultivation methods. He also forced a breakthrough when his strength was unstable, causing a significant accumulation of fire poison in his meridians. This pill formula is called the Ice and Snow Clear Flame Pill. It can effectively suppress the fire poison within Elder Ge. Taken 7 times, the poison could be completely removed. This pill is a low-grade third-order pill. Although Elder Ge cannot refine himself, he believes the miraculous pill workshop certainly has someone who can. If Elder Ge finds it inconvenient, when my master returns, I will surely ask him to refine a batch for you. The compensation is humble, but contains Tang's utmost sincerity. Farewell. Tang Yan smiled and cupped his hands toward Guming. Then he turned and walked outside. Hearing Tang Yan's words, Guming was momentarily dazed. The fire poison in his body, just as Tang Yan had said, was indeed caused by improper cultivation in his youth. Now, every 3 months, it would inevitably recur. Each time it flared up, his entire meridian system felt as if it were being roasted by fire. That torment was truly worse than death. As for the elixir to cure the fire poison, he had searched through all kinds of materials, only to find that even the lowest grade available was 6th rank. He had thought his whole life would be plagued by this fire poison, but he never expected that by sheer coincidence today, he would stumble upon the antidote recipe. As long as he reported this news to headquarters, they would surely not abandon him. With the fire poison cured, his relief would be imminent. This was truly wonderful. Guming couldn't remember how many years it had been since he was this excited. At that moment, he clapped his hands, and tears almost fell from his eyes. Brother Tang, Brother Tang. After calling twice, he suddenly remembered that Tang Yan had already left. Putting away the pill formula, he hurriedly ran out. Xiao Gui Sao Tang Yan emerged safely, and finally felt relieved. The master and servant were about to leave when they heard a bang. The inner door of the shop suddenly burst open. Guming ran out excitedly. The shop assistants and the surrounding customers stared at Guming in surprise. Master Ge was usually elegant and composed, extremely refined. How could he be so undignified today? Brother Tang, wait. Ye Ming What? Brother Tang? The whole crowd in the shop was dumbfounded. Jaws dropped to the floor. Guming, the grand elder of Yunqing's Miaodong workshop, whom even the city lord had to respectfully call Master Ge, was actually calling a mere greenhorn brother. Who is this young man? Master Ge, may I ask what you need me for? Seeing Guming catch up to him, Tang Yan asked curiously, I only borrowed your alchemy cauldron, yet you gifted me a pill formula. Perhaps this gift seems like a mere piece of paper to you, Brother Tang, but to me, it is a life-saving treasure. I am deeply grateful for this great favor. With your remarkable talent, it surprises me that you still lack a decent alchemy cauldron, so I'm giving you one as a gift. I hope you won't refuse it. Guming said seriously. Tang Yan took a long look at Guming. An alchemy cauldron from Guming would certainly not be of low quality. If he accepted it outright, he would be indebted to another favor. He wanted to refuse, but he really did lack a cauldron. After thinking for a moment, Tang Yan cupped his hands in thanks. Master Ge, your kindness is too generous to decline. If any trouble arises in the future, Tang will certainly do his utmost to help. Guming knew that Tang Yan had accepted this favor. He also felt relieved and had someone arrange a carriage and lifted the alchemy cauldron onto it. He glanced at the carriage on which was placed the very alchemy cauldron he had used today. He had someone cover it with a cloth. Tang Yan did not stand on ceremony. He said farewell, turned around, and left with Xiao Chui. Young master, this cauldron, did the master tell you to buy it? Xiao Chui blinked her big eyes. Her eyes were full of confusion. Just now, Master Ge said that this cauldron was a gift for me. How could it be that I bought it? Tang Yan corrected Xiao Chui's words. A gift for you. Xiao Chui's eyes widened again. As the maidservant of the young master of the Tang family, she had seen and heard more than ordinary people. That Miaodong workshop had always been domineering, aloof, and superior. She had only heard of people trying to curry favor with the Miaodong workshop, kept sending things in. How come the young master didn't spend a single silver tael, yet managed to bring back an alchemy furnace? Yeah, otherwise, with the little silver your young master has on him, forget about a furnace like this. Even a low-grade one wouldn't be enough. The master and servant chatted as they walked. Before long, they saw the gates of the Tang residence. Leading the horse, they headed into the courtyard. After a few steps, they saw old Master Tang storming over, fuming. Good afternoon, grandfather. Tang Yan greeted with a grin. Like hell it is. The old man snapped. Tang Yan was baffled, couldn't make heads or tails of it. Why on earth was grandfather scolding him out of the blue? I told you to go out and not stir up trouble. No sooner had you left than you got into a fight with that Liu family brat. Your Dantian is crippled, and that little punk is at the 4th rank Yuan stage. What if he had hurt you? How many lives do you have to keep risking like this? Hearing Grandpa Tang's reproach, Tang Yan Chuka Inwa Li. So the old man was actually worried about him. Just his way of showing it was a bit unique. Grandpa, this isn't my fault. It was Liu Yuan who overestimated himself and insisted on challenging me. We agreed beforehand that fights have no rules. No one can be blamed for injuries or death. I didn't even punch him to death. I already held back. Tang Yan waved his fist, as if regretting not hitting harder. Grandpa Tang was startled by Tang Yan's words. This grandson actually wanted to kill Liu Yuan? Good thing you didn't go that far today. If you had really killed Liu Yuan, the relationship between the Tang and Liu families would have been openly broken. The Liu family, to protect their reputation, even if they didn't kill you, would have at least crippled your legs. Yet he didn't want to say this out loud to remind Tang Yan. After all, his own grandson had beaten Liu Yuan like a dog, which brought face to the Tang family. Thinking about how his servant had reported in detail Tang Yan's underhanded tactics against Liu Yuan, Old Master Tang felt both amused and exasperated. All the members of the Tang family were supposed to be upright and honorable. How did it come to Tang Yan's generation that they turned so cunning and sly? All right, next time you go out, be more careful. After all, with your Dantian destroyed, if you encounter a true master, you'll only end up being beaten. If you fool around again, just you wait, I'll deal with you. Having vented his anger, Old Master Tang glared with his tiger-like eyes, clasped his hands behind his back, and left. Tang Yan breathed a sigh of relief. The old man was too busy being angry to even ask about this pill furnace. That saved him from having to come up with an excuse. Hurriedly called a few people to move the alchemy furnace from the cart to the backyard and ordered everyone to leave. Tang Yan took out 2 porcelain bottles from his bosom, looking at the entirely emerald green Chuling Dan. Without hesitation, he swallowed it directly. Chuling Dan is a pill that has been passed down through thousands of years in Huaxia, enduring without decay. It has been sought after by countless cultivators for millennia, and is the best pill for the early stages of cultivation. It melted upon entering the mouth, leaving a lingering fragrance. A stream of heat rushed straight to his Dantian, just as Tang Yan was about to refine and absorb it. The heaven and earth creation cauldron, which had been dormant in his Dantian, suddenly opened its lid and absorbed all of that medicinal power into itself. Then it clanged shut its lid. No matter how hard he tried, the cauldron remained as if nothing had happened, sitting motionless in his Dantian. The medicinal power he had wanted did not appear at all, not even half a shred. Damn it, you bastard, you swallowed my pill. Tang Dan Guset Inwa Li. After fussing for a while, the cauldron still showed no reaction. Tang Yan felt utterly hopeless for a moment. It wasn't entirely because he felt sorry for losing that pill, but this damned cauldron actually swallowed his pill. Didn't that mean he could no longer use pills to cultivate? At that thought, Tang Yan couldn't help but shiver. If that were really the case, this cosmic creation cauldron, he would rather not have it at all. Unwilling to accept it, Tang Yan picked up another initial spirit pill. He swallowed it without hesitation. The initial spirit pill dissolved as soon as it hit his mouth. Then a stream of heat rushed straight to his Dantian. The lid of the cosmic creation cauldron opened, and it again swallowed the pill completely. The 3rd pill was swallowed again. The 4th pill was swallowed again. Damn your grandmother. Why is a cauldron eating pills? Tang Yan could no longer hold back. He launched a stream of curses at the cauldron. Frustrated and furious, Tang Yan took another bottle, pulled out the stopper, and poured out all 6 pills inside. He swallowed them all in one gulp. The cauldron lid opened again, but this time it only swallowed 1. The remaining 5 initial spirit pills suddenly dissolved, releasing a stream of pure, true qi, rising from the Dantian like a surging river, rushing toward the meridians with a roar. What the heck? Why did it stop swallowing? That explosive burst of energy left Tang Yan no time to even cry. He quickly held his breath and concentrated, striving to guide the true qi through his body. Although the initial spirit pill is known to be gentle, that's only true if you take just one. These 5 initial spirit pills dissolving at once. Under 5 times the spiritual energy. Tang Yan only felt his meridians rapidly expand. A burning sensation surged throughout his body. Tang Yan's eyes turned bloodshot. The supreme alchemy scripture within him spinning wildly. The skin on his body was flushed red, as if the slightest external force would cause his blood to explode. It's just 5 initial spirit pills. I'll fight you to the death. Tang Yan steeled his heart, ignoring the pain in his meridians, guiding the true qi like a flood or beast, circulating it through his body's meridians. Puff, 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 the tiny meridians couldn't withstand the massive spiritual energy. Bursting continuously, it seemed about to complete one cycle, but the pure energy showed no sign of abating. Tang Yan couldn't help but sigh. The already damaged meridians would likely be unable to absorb such immense power. Just as Tang Yan was about to guide the true qi, as he began the second cycle of impact, the previously calm cauldron of creation suddenly lifted its lid once more. Tang Yan's heart surged with ecstasy, and he was about to pour all of his true qi into the cauldron, when suddenly a stream of even purer spiritual energy gushed out from the cauldron's opening. Damn it! Tang Yan was stunned with terror. The spiritual energy meridians from before could no longer bear the load. What the hell are you outputting spiritual energy for at this time? Just as Tang Yan was bemoaning his misfortune, the spiritual energy that had emerged was not as violent as he had imagined, but carried a gentle, moist quality and moved ahead of the original fierce, true qi. The spiritual energy separated from the cauldron. Wherever it passed, it was cool and refreshing, repairing the damaged meridians. Even more, the spiritual energy needed no guidance and autonomously began to circulate through the second cycle. Damn, that feels great. Before Tang Yan could catch his breath, a surge of true qi came rushing from behind, wave after wave. The meridians that had just been repaired were torn apart again by this fierce spiritual energy. Tang Yan vowed deeply, almost crying out. He cursed the alchemy cauldron in his heart for its malice, while enduring the pain of his veins being forcibly stretched and ruptured. Finally, another cycle was completed, but Tang Yan felt as if he had been through a frying pan. This torment of alternating ice and fire made Tang Yan feel like he was caught between life and death. Fortunately, the Tang Yan of today was no longer the prodigal playboy he once was. Instead, he was a proper 9th-grade alchemist, having endured countless hardships in his life. An ordinary person would have long fainted from the pain. Round after round, the meridians were constantly injured and repaired in a cycle. The originally unbearable pain. It didn't seem so torturous after all. I don't know how long passed. Tang Yan finally focused entirely, his mind fully immersed in cultivation. When Tang Yan opened his eyes again, sunlight was already streaming in through the window. A sharp gleam flashed deep in his eyes. Feeling the meridians in his body, now several times stronger, Tang Yan's expression immediately became one of astonishment. Yuan rank 7th grade in a single night. From 3rd grade to 7th grade. A full 4 ranks jumped. If others found out about this, would they lock me up as some kind of monster? In the entire Tingxiang kingdom, there had never been a genius like this, let alone jumping 4 ranks in a row. Even 2 consecutive breakthroughs would be considered a cultivation prodigy. Truly, fate is unpredictable. Misfortune is the cradle of fortune. I thought I would fall in a qi deviation or even explode to death. Who would have thought I not only came out unscathed? Instead, he improved so much overnight. After a brief moment of excitement, Tang Yan calmed down. The Tang family was surrounded by enemies in Cloud City. And aside from grandfather and Uncle Mo, there was a gap in the middle generation, and his own situation was also very dangerous. At the 7th rank of the Yuan stage, his strength was still too weak. Pushing open the door, Tang Yan walked outside. In the early autumn morning, there was already a hint of chill. After about the time it takes to drink a cup of tea, he heard the sounds of grunts and howls coming from ahead. Tang Yan's heart stirred. He took a few quick steps and arrived in front of courtyard. The plaque above read, 3 large characters, training ground. This was where the Tang clan's younger generation usually practiced their martial arts. Pushing open the courtyard gate, he walked in. Only then did he realize that the Tang family had quite a few martial artists. There were actually around 100 people. At that moment, some were sparring in the field, and some were practicing techniques alone. Tang Yan recognized the young man at the front. He was Mo Bo's eldest grandson, Mo Yanjun. Mo Yanjun was 23 this year. His strength had already reached the yellow rank, 2nd grade. He ranked among the top in a younger generation of Cloud City. He served as the captain of the guards in the Tang family. Tang Yan's robe, whiter than snow, was quite eye-catching. As soon as he entered the training ground, he immediately caught Mo Yanjun's attention. What is this playboy doing here? The last time his kid set foot in the training ground must have been 4 years ago, right? Following Mo Yanjun's gaze, the others also noticed Tang Yan. Their eyes revealed contempt. In this world, martial might is supreme. Although Tang Yan was the eldest son of the Tang family, his reputation as a playboy brought shame to the Tang name. These martial artists revered strength, so they naturally looked down on Tang Yan. Taking in everyone's expressions, Tang Yan curled the corner of his mouth. Unfazed, he clasped his hands behind his back. Yuran walked around the training ground once, as if to show Tang Yan some intimidation. The people who were training originally suddenly put more force into their moves, making the atmosphere even more intense. After Tang Yan had made his round, Mo Yanjun pretended to just notice the young master and hurried over. The young master is here. I was busy just now and didn't notice. It's fine, just taking a casual look. Tang Yan waved his hand to dismiss it. Young master, look at our guards. How's their training coming along? Mo Yanjun asked politely. The others, hearing Mo Yanjun's question, all chuckled inwardly. What does this good-for-nothing know? Just as everyone was waiting to hear the young master's flattery, an exaggerated exclamation came. What? You were training just now? Mo Yanjun, who was also waiting for Tang Yan's praise, stunned by Tang Yan's words, sneered. What? Don't tell me young Master Tang thinks we're playing games? What? Aren't you playing games? Tang Yan exclaimed again in shock. The guards, who had been eavesdropping on young Master Tang's words, also pulled long faces upon hearing Tang Yan's words. Ha mpiha, all playboyish always a playboy. If it weren't for us guards, how could the Tang family intimidate all sides and stand as one of the 4 great families in Cloud City? If young Master Tang doesn't respect us, please don't set foot in the training ground from now on. Mo Yanjun said bluntly. Get out of the training ground. Get out of the training ground. Get out of the training ground. The guards below roared. Enough. You bunch of cowards. Tang Dan Zhao Lao Li. And the aura of a generation's pill emperor suddenly burst forth. Mo Yanjun beside him was startled, and the entire venue fell silent at Tang Yan's shout. Mo Yanjun, as the captain of the training ground, I walked in so conspicuously, dressed in a white shirt, and after circling all of you, you only just noticed me. Is that the vigilance expected of a Tang family guard? If someone with ulterior motives had entered and seen all the Tang family's secrets, what do you think the consequences would be? Tang Yan pointed at Mo Yanjun and demanded. Montauk Yanjun was momentarily speechless. This kid's words were reasonable and well-founded. He had deliberately pretended not to see him earlier, but he never expected to be caught by this kid. Tang Yan fumbled inside his clothes and took out a token. Lifting it high, he shouted, Listen to my orders. Fall in. Tang Dan Bao Lao. All the team members were stunned. What was this kid up to? And Mo Yanjun, being the closest, was the first to clearly see the token. It was precisely the core token of authority of the Tang family. This token could completely represent the orders of the Tang family. I never imagined that old Master Tang would actually give it to this kid. What are you standing there for? Fall in. Although the Moyan army looked down on Tang Yan as a playboy, they were utterly loyal to the Tang family. Upon hearing the captain's command, all the guards quickly fell in line, neat and uniform, heads held high and chests puffed out. But their eyes, when looking at Tang Yan, were filled with mockery. What? Try to insult us by flaunting your young master status. Tang Yan took 2 steps forward, pointing a finger at all the guards. You are nothing but a bunch of cowards. A group of bullies who only dare to throw their weight around at me. A man with no cultivation. Why haven't I heard you shout for the Liu family to get out of Cloud City? You are not only cowards, but also useless trash. Hearing Tang Yan's arrogant words, The guards' eyes turned bloodshot, as if they were about to spit fire, their breathing heavy and ragged. If it weren't for us guarding your Tang family day and night, you pampered brats get to sleep in peace every day. If one day the 4 great families of Cloud City go to war, everyone present here would be nothing but cannon fodder. Tang Yan's words grew sharper with each sentence. Finally, someone couldn't hold back and stepped forward. Master Tang, what makes you call us useless? A burly, dark-faced man stepped forward, locking eyes with Tang Yan, his gaze full of defiance. What's your name? Tang Yan asked. My name is Chong Tai. The man replied in a low, gruff voice. What's your current cultivation level? 9th grade Yuan stage. When did you join the Tang family? 3 years ago. And what was your level 3 years ago? Tang Yan asked again. Still 9th grade Yuan stage. So, in the 3 years you've been with the Tang family, training hard in the martial arena, your strength hasn't improved one bit. Tang Yan's words cut like knives. He pressed on relentlessly. This, Chong Tai thought carefully and realized it was indeed true. Hadn't thought so before, but with Tang Yan pointing it out directly, he felt quite embarrassed, as if trying to save face. Chong Tai argued, martial arts training is inherently difficult. It's normal not to advance. How do you train yourself every day? Tang Yan asked again. I train every day at the hour of the rooster, carrying a load of 300 jin, running 5 laps around the grounds, then practicing sword techniques for 4 hours, and sparring with opponents for 2 hours. Speaking of his training, Chong Tai puffed out his chest with pride. My training volume is no less than that of the other guards. For 3 years, I've practiced like this every day. Exactly. Earlier, when you were sparring with others, did you not give it your all and held back? Tang Yan asked again. We're all brothers. Chong Tai said. We stop at the point. What if someone gets hurt? Bullshit. Tang Yan immediately jumped up. You're holding back for him now. But later, when you're on the battlefield, who would go easy on him? You don't use full effort to help him improve. Are you helping him or harming him? You in our Tang family regularly receive pill supplies, generous salaries, yet your strength doesn't advance. So, I say you're trash. All of you are fucking trash. Not only trash, but also stupid. Of course, you must be unconvinced in your hearts. Me, this spoiled young master. What right do I have to scold you? Then let me tell you what right I have. I'm the eldest young master of the Tang family. Even if I do nothing at all, my grandfather will support me, protect me. But what about you? Most of you come from ordinary families. You need to support your families. If you don't work hard, each month you can only get the most basic salary. Your wives and children can only live ordinary lives. You don't have more resources to nurture your descendants. If your children are as idle as me, Tang Yan, then they will be completely ruined. Hearing this, the Tang family guards felt a sense of gloom. Although Tang Yan's words were harsh, they were an indisputable fact. Although they were guards of the Tang family, their income was higher than ordinary people, but it could only ensure that their families lived a little better than ordinary people, to want their children to enjoy the same resources as the family's young masters. Obviously, they didn't have that ability. Seeing the reactions of everyone, Tang Yan secretly rejoiced that they were not numb and indifferent. He shouted angrily at the top of his lungs. I believe many of you are in the same situation as Chong Tai. Your training methods have always been fixed. 3 years ago, you carried 300 jin, and now you still carry 300 jin. Even if I give you another 100 years, you would still remain at the Yuan stage. You will never set foot in the yellow stage. I can be so sure of that, because you've grown too comfortable. You've lost the courage to pursue the peak of martial arts. Chong Tai, I ask you, when you first trained with weights, how many pounds did you carry? Chong Tai's regret was eating him alive. Why did he have to impulsively provoke this tyrant just now? Couldn't he just stay quiet and take the scolding like everyone else? Endure a little and it would pass. Why was he so stubborn? Had to come up here and embarrass himself. 10 pounds. Chong Tai's tone of voice no longer held the toughness it had at first. You, from an ordinary person, cultivated to the 9th grade of the Yuan stage, went from 10 pounds to 300 pounds in weight training. So why don't you keep increasing the difficulty now? Daily training at 350 pounds. If you get used to 350 pounds, then change the daily training to 400 pounds. And keep increasing like that. Tell me in these 3 years, Do you think your strength could reach the yellow rank? Tang Yan demanded. Upon hearing this question, not only the other guards, but even Mo Yanjun began to reflect. Probably. Probably yes. Changtai said shamefully, knowing to reflect. Knowing to feel shame, that means there's still hope for you. Cloud City is now seething with undercurrents. As long as there is a spark, the major families will likely engage in a bloody fight. If you want to survive in the battles ahead, you can only train yourselves relentlessly, making yourselves strong enough to crush everyone else. Only then can you ensure your own safety. Only then can you keep your families from worrying about you. Only then can you avoid being called trash by me, this wastrel. Tang Yan swept his gaze around, fixing it on a wooden stake. How heavy is this wooden stake? This time, Tang Yan was asking Mo Yanjun. 120 Jin. What do you think? How far can I carry it? Tang Yan asked, approximately. Mo Yanjun frowned as he calculated. Less than 100 meters. The others secretly sneered in their hearts. Even 100 meters was an overestimate for him. This pampered young master, who could barely even lift it in the first place. Lift! Tang Yan walked over, exerted his strength, and forcibly hefted the log into his arms. Then strode forward. 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters. Everyone silently predicted. Would young Master Tang collapse within 10 meters? Or give up before 20? 10 meters, 20 meters, 50 meters, 80 meters. Tang Yan did not use a single bit of true energy. He relied solely on his own physical strength. Fortunately, he had been tempered by the heaven-earth creation cauldron, making his body sturdy enough. Even so, Tang Yan felt his strength being drained away. Every step made his entire body tremble. Sweat droplets as big as beans rolled down like raindrops. The crowd had originally wanted to see Tang Yan make a fool of himself. But as Tang Yan walked step by step, the mockery in their eyes had long since dissipated, replaced by shock, surprise, and respect. When Tang Yan reached 100 meters, his body was already swaying violently, but he still insisted on moving forward. 101 meters, 102 meters, 103 meters. Finally, at 130 meters, Tang Yan set down the wooden stake, dragging his exhausted body. Tang Yan walked back to the front of the line. He swept his gaze across the crowd and said through heavy breaths, "When I walked 100 meters, I was in the same state as you are now. I thought I had reached my limit. But after 100 meters, I still took another step. I have now surpassed my former self." Whoosh, after a brief silence. All the guards burst into applause and cheers. Thunderous applause. Perhaps you think 300 Jin is your limit. But I tell you, human potential is limitless. Only by constantly tapping into that potential can you keep advancing. The weakness of my own strength, coupled with the Tang family being the weakest of the 4 great clans, left Tang Yan feeling utterly insecure. And at this moment, Tang Yan finally decided to build up the Tang family's power, to truly make the Tang family a great clan of Cloud City, the greatest clan. Having said all that, Tang Yan finally dangled the benefits. In this world, only by constantly growing stronger can we gain more. Don't complain about your humble origins. If you're not living well, blame it on your own lack of effort. As the eldest son of the Tang family, I hereby guarantee to everyone present that anyone who breaks through to the yellow rank will have their stipend on top of the original base, tripled, starting from the yellow rank. For each rank breakthrough a person makes, their monthly stipend will increase by 100 taels of silver. Additionally, depending on the situation, I will provide first-grade pills every month. If anyone reaches the 5th grade of the yellow rank, then their child will be allowed to enter the Tang family, to be trained from a young age. As soon as these words were spoken, the atmosphere in the entire venue instantly exploded. Everyone's spirits were roused at once. Currently, their monthly stipend was only a few dozen taels of silver. Once at the yellow rank, the stipend would triple instantly. If they worked hard enough, wouldn't their families be able to live a better life? Their children could also have a brighter future. The young master is wise. At that moment, everyone roared from the bottom of their hearts. No one gets up early without profit. Tang Yan had lived 2 lives. Knowing this well, seeing that everyone's passion was truly fully aroused by him, he roared loudly, "Say it again. The Tang family does not raise useless people. This plan of mine also has certain requirements. That is, in the future training, it will be tough, extremely tough. Please prepare yourselves for an infernal ordeal. If anyone wants to quit, please stay where you are. If you want to become strong, willing to accept the training, then take a step forward. Before I count to, boom! Tang Yan's 3 words hadn't even left his mouth when a loud crash was heard. All the warriors took a step forward in perfect unison. The entire training ground shook, seeing the fervor in everyone's eyes. Tang Yan knew his goal was achieved. He asked again, "I'll ask you one last time. Are you ready for the inferno?" "Ready," answered the 120 in unison. Their voices soared into the sky. A nation has its laws, an army has its rules. From now on, every morning, we gather at dawn. Anyone who arrives late will be dismissed. Dismissed. From now on, I am in full charge of you. Anyone who disobeys orders will be dismissed. Anyone who hasn't reached the yellow rank in half a year will be dismissed. Dismissed. Tang Yan's expression was stern. After his speech, these guards actually felt as if they were in the army. Now, everyone listen to my command. Carry the 350 gene wooden stake. Line up and run 10 laps around the training ground. If one person fails to finish, everyone's lunch will be canceled. If you haven't started running within 10 breaths, everyone's lunch will be canceled. Begin. At Tang Yan's command, everyone moved with tense urgency, quickly finding their wooden stakes. They lined up and began running around the training ground. On a distant pavilion, 2 old men watched the training ground in shock. After a long moment, old Master Tang asked, "Old Amo, take a closer look. That young man in white, is he my grandson?" Hearing old Master Tang's words, Uncle Amo was rather amused and exasperated. "Master, that is indeed the young master." With Uncle Mo's confirmation, old Master Tang narrowed his eyes. He asked in a deep voice, "You say with that brat's instigation, the strength of the Tang family guards will become what?" Earlier, hearing Tang Yan's words, Uncle Mo only thought they made sense. But now, on deeper reflection, Uncle Mo felt nothing but immense shock. Half a year from now, Uncle Mo said slowly, "The Tang family's position at the bottom of the 4 great families in Cloud City might just move up a notch." First, he angered everyone, smoothly drawing all attention entirely onto himself. Then he led by example, winning people over with virtue, and then offered benefits to ignite everyone's passion. Finally, he set the rules, smoothly taking control of the guards. Old Master Tang paced back and forth, analyzing Tang Yan's every move bit by bit. At this point, he was also startled by his own monstrous grandson. With such training, how could the soldiers not be strong? If it had been like this long ago, how could the Tang family have been so coveted by other families? Of course, what surprised Tang Ling the most was the transformation of his grandson. This good-for-nothing rascal who usually didn't study. How did he suddenly become so mature? Tang Yan was unaware that his every move was being watched closely by his grandfather and Uncle Mo. At this moment, he was at the training ground, engaging in an overloaded workout. With a 100-pound sandbag pressing on his body, he struggled to do push-ups. This time, Tang Yan used his inner chi. A person's inner chi is a cycle of regeneration. When depleted, it will regenerate anew. And with every overloaded workout, the second generation of inner chi will inevitably be greater than before. Achieving such a positive cycle allows for faster progress. Of course, there are also certain drawbacks. That is, after prolonged cultivation. With constant overload training, the body's meridians will naturally suffer damage. However, Tang Yan didn't mind. The pills he refined himself could completely compensate for the meridian issues. The group of guards from the Tang family initially thought Tang Yan was just acting on a whim, but when he actually started training, one by one they were completely dumbfounded. Their young master was far too fierce. Starting from morning, he did push-ups with 100 gene in weight, and stubbornly lasted for an entire 2-hour session. He only rested for a little over an hour, then began the second round of training. How the hell could this be done by a good-for-nothing whose Dantian was crippled? Even if they themselves were at the 9th rank of the Yuan stage, carrying 100 gene to do push-ups for an hour would almost exhaust one to death. And Tang Yan was this crazy. The bloodlust in the Tang family guards' hearts was fully aroused. Even a man whose Dantian had been destroyed could do it. They, As dignified Yuan ranked ninth grade martial artists. How could they not persevere? For a moment, the Tang family training ground had an unprecedentedly high morale. A day passed. Tang Yan dragged his exhausted body back to his room. He was not in a hurry to cultivate. Instead, he asked Xiao Chui to go to the Tang family medicine pavilion and fetch several herbs. Fortunately, the Tang family had a large estate and had stocked a considerable variety of medicinal herbs. This time, Tang Yan needed to refine a pill. Quench meridian powder. After Xiao Chui brought the herbs, Tang Yan entered his makeshift alchemy room. He skillfully sorted the herbs, purified them, and then began alchemy. Meridian tempering powder, a low-grade, first-order pill. Though its grade was not high, in this world, pills for repairing and tempering meridians seemed to be scarce. About an hour later, Tang Yan opened the pill furnace and saw a pile of powder on top. He found a large porcelain bottle and packed all the medicinal powder into it. On a normal day, Tang Yan would have refined a higher-grade pill, but he'd been busy all day, and his spiritual energy was nearly depleted. He had to settle for second best, refining the meridian tempering powder instead. Back in his room, Xiao Chui had, as instructed, heated up a large bucket of water. Looking at the bucket of bubbling, boiling water, Tang Yan poured most of the meridian tempering powder into it. After a brief hesitation, he leaped in. A searing heat hit him, and even with Tang Yan's incredible endurance, he couldn't help but cry out in pain. After a long moment, he finally adjusted to the water's temperature. Only then did Tang Yan close his eyes, take out a primordial spirit pill, and swallow it. This time, a strange expression involuntarily crossed Tang Yan's face. He had expected the creation cauldron to swallow the pill as before, but the pill dissolved as soon as it entered his mouth, directly transforming into spiritual energy. Without time to ponder, Tang Yan sat cross-legged, quietly circulating his cultivation method. Over the following period, Tang Yan truly astonished the Tang family guards. Everyone thought he was just acting on a whim, but the young master actually held on tenaciously, and the daily training load even increased day by day. A month later, Tang Yan's strength finally broke through to the 8th rank of the Yuan stage. What made Tang Yan even more excited was the Tang family guards under his command. Most of them had reached their bottlenecks. As long as there was a suitable opportunity, it was highly likely they could break through their current barriers and enter the yellow rank. If the Tang family could gain an additional 120 yellow rank guards, then the overall strength of the Tang family would certainly not remain at the bottom. Of course, it wouldn't become the strongest either. In the martial path, each rank is like a mountain apart. Within the Yuan rank, a martial artist at the 4th grade of Yuan might very well be able to defeat a martial artist at the 5th grade of Yuan, but a martial artist at the 1st grade of Yellow trying to defeat a martial artist at the 2nd grade of Yellow is as difficult as scaling the heavens. The higher the strength, even a tiny gap can mean a distance of thousands of miles. The Yellow rank masters of other families likely outnumbered those of the Tang family by a fair margin. This wasn't because the Tang family's treatment was poor. On the contrary, the Tang family actually offered higher compensation to martial artists. But many martial artists believed the Tang family was in a precarious situation. It would be safer to pledge allegiance to the Liu family or other factions, wanting to seize the promotion opportunity for all these people. Tang Yan first thought of elixirs. The initial spirit elixir was just suitable for their cultivation, but over 100 elixirs would require at least 10 batches. Although with Alchemist Tang's level of alchemy, he could completely guarantee a 100% success rate. But the medicinal herbs needed for 10 batches would also cost a considerable amount of money. Roughly calculated, it would be at least over 10,000 taels of silver. This was the biggest problem at hand. The reason he didn't ask his grandfather for money was that his recent changes were simply too drastic. If his grandfather pressed him, he wouldn't be able to explain clearly. Go out and look around, try his luck. After thinking for a long time to no avail, Tang Yan decided to go out once. He called out to Xiao Chui. Tang Yan, dressed in a white robe, held a folding fan as the master and servant walked outside. Master, the young master has left. Not long after Tang Yan had gone, Uncle Mo came to Tang Ling's study to report. Let's go follow and see. Tang Ling stood up and said, "Quickly put on a disguise." Less than half an hour later, two old men in plain clothes slipped out through the back courtyard of the Tang family. If you didn't look closely, you'd think they were street vendors. "Master, you're coming along yourself this time?" Uncle Imo asked in a low voice. Those bastards from the Liu family have been sending people to watch the Tang mansion. No need to guess, it's that brat Liu Yuan, wanting to get revenge for last time. But from now on, if anyone dares to touch my grandson, I'll wipe out their entire family. Hearing the old Master Tang's murderous words, Uncle Imo understood. Over a decade had passed, and Tang Yan had been idle and unlearned, a spoiled and dissolute son. The old master had long given up on that boy Tang Yan, who knew that the lad would suddenly change his ways, showing the stance that a prodigal son returning is worth more than gold. This transformation filled old Master Tang with immense joy, feeling that the family legacy now had a worthy successor. If anyone truly harmed Tang Yan now, the old master would surely be unable to bear such a blow. From Uncle Mo's understanding of Tang Ling, even if it meant mutual destruction, he would mobilize the entire Tang family to avenge his grandson. This time, let's hope no one is foolish enough to provoke Tang Yan again.